This is proving to be a massive week for the precious metals, the silver price, gold price, and platinum price. What is going on? I heard an executive from an online bullion dealer say this is like the Super Bowl week for silver and gold. We've got big developing stories that are going to be coming out from the BRICS meeting. But I have a unique perspective I want to share with you about what we could expect and what they may be shooting for, these BRICS countries, and how it relates directly to silver and gold. Also, the other story, big story, something that has totally had a major impact on the silver price, gold price, and platinum price in previous years, the big Jackson Hole meeting from the Federal Reserve. They're going to have central bankers from around the world, and we've got some unique perspective on what we can expect from that as well. And it actually was brought to my attention from Reuters, of all places. Yes, Reuters, you know, the big international business news agency. They said something that I think is eye-opening for silver, gold, and platinum investors. But do you feel like it's Pat Holland said this yesterday. Right now, this week, it's like the battle of good and evil, or, you know, Superman against whoever he was fighting against. You've got the big BRICS meeting going on in the East, and in the West, you've got the stodgy old central bankers headed up by our good friend Jerome Powell that are meeting in the West. I think, guys, I don't know how you feel about this, but possibly, do you feel like there could be almost an economic war going on right now? We need to think about that. They're not going to publish that on the front page of your newspaper. There's big, big things going on in the world. And of course, it would not be a Ron's Basement live stream if we didn't touch on some doom and gloom. And I'm telling you, I'm having to summarize it all at this point. There's so much really bad news coming out in the U.S. economy. We're going to cover that as well, because that will impact the price of silver. That also will impact the price of gold. But let's dive right into the BRICS. Yes, today's the day. August 22nd, the big BRICS meeting in Johannesburg, South Africa. Now, you know the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, they want to get out from under the control of the U.S. dollar. What does that mean to you? What does that mean? Think about that they want to get away from the U.S. dollar. They want to move away from the U.S. hegemony. That's a big fancy word that you can use, right? When you're at the country club, hegemony means like the singular control. That's what these BRICS countries want to do. And guess what? They're already doing it. I read last night there's now 70 countries that are holding Chinese yuan as a reserve currency in their central banks. China, think about oil. Now, look, guys, I want you to think about oil. And what does oil have to do with silver and gold? It's got everything to do with silver, gold, and platinum. Oil is the lifeblood of the world economy. There's no other way to say it. It's energy, and it's in everything. The computer you're looking at right now has oil in it. Petroleum is everything. India and China are the two biggest importers of oil in the world. Did you know that? Again, more ammo for you when you're at the country club this weekend. And as the world is changing, right? Russia and Saudi Arabia is talking about joining these BRICS countries. They're two of the world's biggest oil producers. These countries and the BRICS countries are already starting to develop trade relations between themselves in their own native sovereign currencies. That is bad news for the dollar. Now, let this sink in for a second, okay? As people move away from the dollar as a trade currency, as a reserve currency, the value of the U.S. dollar is going to go down. It did a pretty good job. Think about this. Wow. Newsflash. Think about this. The U.S. dollar did a pretty darn good job of going down without the help of the BRICS moving away from it. Think about from 1970 through today, 50 years since Richard Nixon took us temporarily temporarily off the gold standard. How has the dollar fared? It's lost a significant amount of its value without the BRICS situation. Now you've got these BRICS countries that are, and by the way, during those 50 years, what happened to the silver price? What happened to the gold price? Go look at a chart. It went up, up, up. Silver, gold, platinum as well. For our good friend Neil from Neil Hahn's Dynasty, do well when the dollar goes down. So without the help that we're getting now from the rest of the world, guys, bell time. Thank you, CoinShop Chris, for sending me that text. That's 100 thumbs up. That's 10 rings of the bell for you. Yes, you. When we get to 200 thumbs up, which I am confident we will do today, we will ring the cowbell. Nonetheless, guys, let this sink in. The last 50 years, the dollar has gone down the tubes, okay? Once it was taken off gold backing, gone down the tubes without the help of the BRICS, the current level of geopolitical tension that we have in the world right now. What do you think is going to happen over the next 50 years? What do you think is going to happen over the next 5 years? What do you think could happen over the next 5 months? 5 days. Do you think suddenly the dollar is going to go up in value? We don't even want to get into the fact that the U.S. government is in so much debt, the country is in such a cruddy financial condition. Guys, but that's not even. That's not even the kicker, the bonus feature when it comes to the BRICS, because I'm going to share that with you right now. Nobody's talking about the fact. Nobody's talking about the fact that the BRICS countries want the U.S. dollar to go down in value. And again, when the U.S. dollar goes down in value, that means the value of your silver, the value of your gold goes up. Why would the BRICS want the dollar to go down in value? Because the dollar-denominated debt that a lot of the countries, not necessarily Russia, but the dollar-denominated debt because there's all these countries that are joining the BRICS, it would become much easier for them to repay it. So a gold-backed currency, a gold-backed token, whatever they come up with, behooves them. Guys, we are in a period of change right now like we've never experienced in our lifetimes. I know you're around my age, give or take 20 years. I'm 53 years old. I'd imagine most of us are in the 25 to 98 time frame, 98 years old. And nonetheless, none of us have seen change like this. Unless you're 98 and you remember World War II vividly, we've never been through a period like this before, okay? And what would devalue the dollar? A gold-backed currency. Remember, us basement dwellers, that's you. This is not RonTube, it's YouTube. This is not Ron's basement, it's your basement, right? But we have our own acronym. GBC. Sure, they got CBDC. They got all these other A, B, C, D, E, F, Gs. We have GBC, gold-backed currency. When we get our T-shirts made, right? Ron's basement, GBC. A gold-backed currency spells trouble for the dollar. Remember, gold is kryptonite to the U.S. dollar. So that's the latest and greatest on the BRICS. Now, let's shift gears. What do you say? Because we also have a big meeting. What do you think? Why do you think and it's been scheduled, but all the world's Western central bankers, right? The guys that are the old show, right? The old guard. Hey, thank you. Wow, Clifton, thank you for that super chat, my friend. Wow, that always warms my heart. Thank you. Thumbs up. Guys, please give this a thumbs up. I'm going to ask quickly, but it makes all of us get the news out to more people, and it's free to press that little thing that maybe it looks like that. I don't know. Maybe it looks like that. Anyway, excuse me. It helps. Jackson Hole, the big central banker meeting. Big news. Okay, will come out of this meeting. Starts on Thursday, I think, and I think Powell's going to talk on Friday. Let me read some information to you. This comes from Reuters, and this should make you, as a silver, gold, and platinum investor, make your eyes pop up or pop out or whatever your eyes do. Oh man. The feathers are gonna start flying. Okay, if you know the song that those words are from, time to see some feathers fly in the world. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to tell you about my pet parakeet Petey. I'll tell you about him later. All right, here, Reuters, precious gold holds ground near 5 months lows, but eyes turn to the Jackson Hole meeting. Okay. Gold prices have held around their 5-month low. We know that, and we're okay. Are you okay? Are you okay with your silver investment, with your gold investment, with your platinum investment? We're okay, yeah, but we've been beaten down. Gold prices held above 5-month lows on Monday after declining for 5 consecutive sessions. That's okay. We took it. Boom, 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 boom. 5 days in a row, we took it. No problem. As investors saddled up for a gathering of central bankers at Jackson Hole. Something about saddling up. I found that, in Wyoming. I guess that's why they said saddling up. This week for an outlook on the economy and interest rates. Okay, here we go. Quote, in order to see a more pronounced rebound, spot gold needs to surpass the 200-day moving average, now at around $19.10 per ounce, said Kelvin Wong. He's a senior market analyst at Asia Pacific, OANDA, whatever that is. So we're below the 200-day moving average on gold. We're not real technical chart readers, but it is better to be above the 200-day moving average. But the good news about being below the 200-day moving average is we got a lot of room for improvement, right? It's like when I was a kid and I would come home with my report card and I had D's. My mom and dad would say, well, come on, Ronnie, look at the bright side. You got a lot of room for easy improvement. And that's the case with the gold price as well. Gold had dropped to its lowest since mid-March. $1,883 last week is buoyant economic data. Are you kidding me? How does that make you feel? That makes me mad. Buoyant. There's all this buoyant economic data. Raised bets for higher for longer U.S. interest rates, reducing demand for the non-yielding commodity. So that ticks me off because you know what? Yeah, all this buoyant. It's Bidenomics or Bidenomics. Anyway, nonetheless, right? Oh, all this official government data comes out. The GDP number, the employment, But have you noticed that the real numbers, and we're going to talk about that because you are going to get your daily dose of gloom and doom. Okay, don't worry. We'll do that at the end. We'll leave on a low note. The real numbers, the bankruptcies, the third largest trucking company in the world, the Dick's Sporting Goods laying people off, right? Macy's. Have you noticed the real data that comes through isn't so great, right? The trucking industry, 10% down. I digress. We're talking about Jackson Hole. Stay on Jackson Hole. All right. Investor focus will be on the U.S. Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell. His speech is on Friday, so be ready. Friday could be fireworks as central bankers from around the world, except those probably from the BRICS countries, but that's a different story, assemble in Jackson Hole for their annual conference. The discussion is the discussion is likely to be centered around whether it warrants a higher, there's a big kicker. Stay with me. There's a big kicker in here, and it came from Reuters, okay? The discussion will likely be centered around whether it warrants a higher level of long-term equilibrium, easy for me to say, interest rates versus a decade ago, Wong said. Okay, so they're talking about maybe we need to keep interest rates a little higher than we have for the last decade. This is where it gets interesting. Get ready to smile. Are you ready to smile? We like to smile. Silver, gold, and platinum investors. Quote, this is Mr. Wong, if the long-term equilibrium interest rate scenario is justified by an elevated, sticky inflation. Do you think inflation's sticky? Sticky inflation environment. Gold may now start to behave as a hedging instrument and attract inflows. That means money coming in, given that prices have dropped to attractive levels. What he's basically saying, we like Mr. Wong. Mr. Wong is not Wong. He's white. Listen, what he's saying is inflation's sticky. They may have to keep rate. It comes down to real interest rates, and this is good news for gold, silver, and platinum investors because it will mean inflows. And it gets interesting. It gets interesting. Where is it? Where is it? I thought there. Oh, here we go. I'm not going to read the next two paragraphs because there's nothing interesting in there, but this paragraph is interesting. The SPDR Gold Trust, that's the Spider Gold Trust, I think that's GLD, the ETF, the world's largest gold-backed exchange-traded fund, said its holdings rose by a whopping 0.3% on Friday, reporting its first inflow in a month. Oh, right? People are moving to gold. People are moving to silver. We know. I mean, we haven't talked about this for a few days, and this has nothing to do with Jackson Hole. It has to do with our lady stacker friends. We got more and more ladies coming into the stacking world, and they are absolutely welcome here. We have more and more young people. I'm getting emails from a lot of people telling me they're in their 30s and they stack silver. There's more and more people. Don't even get me started. This is good news, guys. Let's get Jerome out for a second. I got to ring the cowbell. CoinChop Chris does a great job of keeping me on track. I apologize. I owe you an apology, guys. I didn't ring the cowbell bell exactly at 200 thumbs up, but I'm going to do it right now. Surround sound. At 200 thumbs up, we ring the cowbell. I don't know what I might do at 300 thumbs up, and it looks like we're going to get there today. Look, the Jackson Hole. Let's wrap the Jackson Hole. Let's try the Jackson Hole. Saddle up for a second. Let's wrap it up. Is a big deal. It's interesting that it's going on at the same time. We got the Western bankers, right? I bet there's a fun group to hang around in Jackson Hole, and we have the BRICS countries. Have you noticed? Let's just touch on this, right? Let's look at the crumbs. Let's read between the lines. Let's use our heads. Have you noticed? Susie this morning, she always watches the Good Morning America, and I'm in the other room, and I'm listening to what they're talking about. They don't talk about the BRICS. Isn't that funny? I wonder why. Only what a lot of smart, what do you think? What do you think? But a lot of smart people are saying this BRICS meeting could represent one of the biggest weeks in world history. Oh, but Good Morning America is going to talk about the first day of back to school, which is a big deal for kids, right? But what's going to affect those kids a heck of a lot more 20 years from now is what's going on in Johannesburg, South Africa. They'll get over their first day of school, but when my 11-year-old, do you have kids? Do you have grandkids? Do you wonder 25 years ago or 25 years ahead? We don't have to imagine about 25 years ago. We know what it was like back then. The dollar was much more valuable. Silver and gold price measured in dollars was a lot lower. But when we look out 25 years in the future, when you think about the BRICS and you think about what these bozos that are out at Jackson Hole have done to you right now, but not only that, but your kids and maybe your grandkids, it's downright frightening. Or am I alone? Let me ask you a question, because we like to get mad every once in a while, angry. Does it make you angry? Yes or no? What the central bankers have done, what our political leaders have done, the situation they put us in. If yes, say yes. If no, say no. Maybe you're happy about it. If you're part of the 1%, maybe you are happy. Okay. Oh boy, look at all these comments, man. You guys, we got doom. We got a lot. We got some bad news. And bad news about the economy, look at all those yeses. Sean R., Ricky's House of Crap. One of our subscribers named Ricky's House of Crap. Patriot Paul. Sharon, good to see you, my friend. Yeah, I don't know what maybe one last time I'll ring the bell with my nose when we get to 300 thumbs up. But we got to get to 300 thumbs up, guys. Please remember, press that thumbs up button. Those of you that just joined us, we're talking about the big BRICS summit. We're talking about Jackson Hole, which nobody's talking about. We're talking about how this current interest rate environment could be changing, and even the way the market perceives it, and how that can be big news for the silver price and gold price. There's so much going on. It is absolutely crazy. Hey, yesterday, Craig Edmonds asked a great question, and I forgot to get to it before we got off. His question basically was this: do we really need to have doom and gloom for the price of gold and silver to skyrocket? And the answer to that question is no, not necessarily. I mean, we haven't had that much doom and gloom over the last 20, 30 years. And since 1970, the United States was ruling the world. We were the hegemony, and silver and gold price did really, really well. Look at a chart. Look at a long-term chart for silver, gold, and platinum. So even under rosy scenarios, right, because of the fact that our government has just, it's mathematical, guys. There's no other way around it. 34 trillion in debt, 1.4 trillion deficit, interest rates going through the roof. Just that, even under those rosy best case scenario situations, silver and gold, in my opinion, I don't have a crystal ball. Don't you make any financial decisions based upon what I'm telling you, but I'm confident that we're going to do really well. At minimum, we're going to keep up with inflation, and there's a chance, and again, just my opinion, but there's a chance that we could see some astronomical real returns. Not nominal. You got to know the difference between nominal and real. Nominal means just number, right? That means if you had $1 at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year you had $1.10, you got a 10% return. But if inflation was 10%, you got a 0 return. That's the real return on your money. If you started the year with $1 and you ended the year with $1.10, right? On nominal terms, you got, thank you. Oh, hey, Ron, man, you are super generous, Mr. McAdams. You started the year with $1 and you got $1.10 at the end of the year. Okay, right? But inflation, I'm sorry, you had $1 and you had $1.20 at the end of the year. You made 20% in nominal terms. If inflation was 10%, really, right, now it cost you $1.10, but in real terms, you made 10 cents. You made a, 9% gain. There's a big difference there. Sorry, this is not an econ class. You came here to talk about silver and gold. Now, what do you think is going to happen to the silver price and gold price when we have big doom, big trouble in the U.S. economy? The 10-year bond, it's down a little bit today, but it's still super high. It's at levels that is causing major stress. The heat is up. The heat has been turned on your. We have an electric stove, Thermador, some fancy brand. I've got it used, but anyway. The heat on that stove, when you put it on 6, it gets hot. The heat just got turned up. The 10-year bond yield going up so high got turned from a 6 to an 8, okay? It can get hotter, but it's getting hot now that the kernels can start popping. The oil in the pan is getting really hot. Guys, it is not a pretty situation in the banking industry. We're not going to go deep into that today. We have before, but commercial real estate, the amount of money getting pulled out of the banks to chase these higher rates, the amount of money the banks are having to pay, they have to pay more interest to their depositors, right? The value of their treasury bonds, they all bought treasuries when they were 1% and 2%. It is absolutely not a good, the asset side of the banking equation is horrible. And remember this, when you go to your local bank and walk in the lobby, if they even have their lobby, if your branch is open anymore, or if the lobby's open, I hear my mom and dad go to Bank of America. They're like, they live in O'Fallon. It's like a very populous area. They're like, you can't even sometimes go in the lobby and there's no people and it's like crazy, but even if you do walk into the bank, don't expect them to have a big poster up by the door saying,